12 young firefighters back to the City of Orange Township Fire Department. As a result of such focus, not always agreeing, but remaining civil in our demeanor, on March 18th at approximately 6 p.m., we were able to extinguish the fires of adversity and come to an agreement with our firefighters union, FMBA Local 10. But this doesn't happen until I get the signature of our chief executive on those documents. And I might add that he signed them very proudly. And I want to thank him for that, as I want to thank Alvin Padilla, the union president. So at this time, it is only appropriate that I bring up the chief executive of this municipality, the Honorable Mayor Eldridge Hawkins, Jr. of the City of Orange Township.
Thank you, Marvin, and thank all of you for coming. This is a very, very proud day in the history of Orange, and it certainly sets a precedent in our city for what can be done in difficult economic times, and also sets an example for what can be done throughout the state and throughout the country. By way of background, within the last year, Orange was hit very hard by a loss in state funding. The governor, through various cuts and a loss of UEZ funding, actually put us in the hole about $3 million, which was equal to about a 10% tax increase, on top of our regular contractual increases and so on and so forth. That would bring us up to about 20%. Knowing that, and knowing that we would have difficult decisions to make, we laid the foundation and applied for a federal grant called the SAFER Grant with FEMA. Through cooperation with federal officials, being Senator Lautenberg, Senator Menendez, Congressman Payne, the unique talents of my office staff, my chief of staff, Stephanie Gideby, and the rest of the administrative team, we were able to secure a grant for over $1 million to help us bring 12 firefighters back to the city of Orange. And actually, when I say back, I mean over and above those that we are bringing back due to the concessions, to help bring our fire department up to where it should be. It was tough negotiations. It's not easy. There had to be a lot of give and take. I think there was a lot of pain that had to be spread around as it relates to what the firemen had to sacrifice, what the residents had to sacrifice, but we were able to come to a conclusion. And I really want to, if I had a hat on, I'd take it off to Alvin Padilla, because he represents the fire union very well. It is a very challenging job to represent the interests of the senior members who may not be as affected as the junior members being laid off, the pressure of the community and the administration. It is a very difficult task to do, and he does it well. He's a fierce advocate for the union and did so without ever being disrespectful, so I applaud you for your efforts. Without going through all the things that they gave back, just to give you an idea of some of the sacrifices that the fire department made to get us here, they gave up or gave back 55 hours of holiday pay. They gave back 5 days of salary deferral until retirement. They also gave back 3 of their sick days as a contribution to the city to help close our deficit. And probably most importantly, for the rest of this fiscal year, our fire department agreed to work for comp time instead of overtime, which means instead of being paid out in cash increments that would actually cause us to have to raise taxes in the budget, they agreed to put that on the books for time off in the future that did not incur overtime. So that's huge as well. So to put this in perspective, these difficult choices that really boiled down to us trying to do the best that we could to balance our ability to deliver services in this municipality without overburdening the taxpayers with an exorbitant tax increase, we have been able to move forward. And because of the concessions and the hard work of our city attorney, and again the rest of the administrative team, John Mason, our business administrator, we were able to come to terms. And because of these specific givebacks, we were able to bring back 12 firefighters who are standing behind me today. In addition to those 12, as I referenced, we secured that SAFER grant, which is going to allow us to hire 12 new firefighters on top of that. Now, what does this really mean? Let's put this in perspective. In the city of Orange Township, there's 2 firehouses. One is presently closed. due primarily to the cuts we sustained from the governor and the actions that had to follow. By the time we come back to full strength or close to full strength with the grant and these 12 behind us, we will be able to open that firehouse again and keep the residents of this municipality safer. And we have a force of about 50 firemen right now. Now, what this means, this partnership, we've been able to increase our fire department's strength by about 50%. And that is unprecedented in an economy where everybody is getting laid off, public employees and private sector, where people are taking cuts in salary. But because of our partnership and the joint efforts of everybody in this room and standing behind me, we have been able to increase our forces by 50% without hammering our taxpayers and keeping our residents much safer. So, again, congratulations to all standing behind me. At this time, I want to introduce the head of the fire department. And I didn't mention him before because he deserves his own recognition. In very large part, he played a huge role in these negotiations. He understands the operations of the department. He has the respect of the men under his command, as well as mine, Chief Maganelli.
Thank you. The mayor said everything. I don't know what else to say. No. I'd like to thank a few people because this would have never happened if the unions weren't diligent and sat down at the table kind of every day. Since January, when these 12 guys got laid off, my nights have been pretty much sleepless. So my days at work were a little rough, but I made sure that I got the union reps in there to talk to them and see what was going on during the day, to try to let them sit down and come to some kind of agreements, which they were willing to do. And we did, and we accomplished something that a lot of people thought that we would never do. I'd like to thank Elvin Padilla for putting in so much time and getting so little recognition back for it. The SAFER grant that we got was a big part of a lot of this, bringing 12 guys back and having the new 12 guys that are coming on beef up this department to meet the standards. The mayor's chief of staff had a big part in that. She worked night and day to try to broker this for us, and we finally got it through. We started out thinking that we would never get this grant, and we had Sergeant Upchurch from the police department assist us because she's a grant writer, and out of nowhere we are at this place right now, which is a wonderful place for the citizens of Orange and for the fire department. Also, I'd like to thank the Hawkins administration for putting the time in. Ultimately, I'd like to thank Mr. Breaker because he's sick of hearing me. I call him so many times that I'm sure that he looks at the phone and goes, oh no. But when this was all over, I just gave it a whoosh. Man, we're finally done. But we really are not finally done. We have some more work to do. The officers union is going to sit down hopefully today, and we have 4 captains that are demoted that need to be back in position soon. So I thank everybody for coming out. I thank this administration again, like I said, and hopefully we're going to forge forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. I think we've all heard very often that catchphrase that it's business and not personal. And I think that's true to a degree because at the end of the day we have fiscal constraints that we have to deal with that we can't get around. But I say to a degree because it is personal, and I think that sometimes we can lose sight of the fact that our men and women in uniform have families too. And they have mortgages. And to that extent, it is a personal thing for me that I can sit here and help bring them back to full force and get them their job backs. And to Elvin, thank you very much. I'm going to turn it over to you because it couldn't have been done without your leadership. And if anybody knows the personal battles that the firemen have to go through on a daily basis, it's you as their leader. So thank you.
Good afternoon. On behalf of the Orange Fire Department rank and file, I want to welcome and thank everyone for taking part of this rehiring ceremony today. Don't be fooled, gentlemen. This wasn't an easy task. However, today we close a chapter in the Orange Fire Department. How we arrived to this point is irrelevant. It's the fact that we stand here today as one. It would not be possible if we didn't come together for the betterment of the people we sworn to serve and protect. I want to take this opportunity to thank the following individuals because they truly made this day possible. Mayor Eldridge Hawkins Jr. and his staff, Speaker of the House, Assemblywoman Sheila Oliver and her staff, Congressman Pascarell and his staff, Senator Lautenberg, Senator Menendez and his staff, the leaders of the 27th, 28th, 29th, and 34th Legislative District and their staff, the Essex County Freeholder Carol Clark, City Attorneys Marvin Breaker, Joseph Wenzel, and their staff, the Business Administrator John Mason, Chief of Staff, and forgive me, Stephanie, Gigaby? Gigaby. Chief of the Department Robert Maganelli, the attorneys for the unions Eric Levine, Dave Fox, and Carla Katz, President William Lavin, Vice President Robert Brower for the New Jersey State FMBA, the 32 members of the FMBA Local 10, and the 5,000 members of the association, your union brothers. 3 years ago, I stood in the same spot with 6 of the laid-off firemen, and we made a promise to them. The promise was that when you depart to protect the city of Orange, we're going to do everything in our power to keep you safe. We also promised at the end of the shift, you will return home in the same condition you left. Our motto in the fire service is, and will always be, no one gets left behind. Gentlemen, brave firefighters, and our brothers in blue, may this be a bump in the road and just that. We would like the 12 brave firefighters and their families to take a moment to soak all this in. You must understand that although at times you felt abandoned, you were not. Not a day went by when your names were not uttered at the firehouse or our homes. Not a day went by when we went to sleep and didn't think if you had a place to sleep or a meal to eat. See, although we did not endure this physical layoffs, we endured the emotional suffering. God bless everyone, God bless America, and welcome back.